What's up, y'all? I feel like I've been thinking a lot about, as an artist or like as a consumer of art, I consume and I create mostly based off of frequency. So I can only assume that every other artist does as well. Everything that we create has our frequency in it. And it's like whatever frequency aligns with mine, that's what I relate most to when I'm consuming music. And I can only say the same for people who enjoy indulging in my art. So I was just thinking about maybe implementing a more intentional practice of like consuming something and then really breaking down how I feel when I'm observing it, like whether I'm listening to music or looking at a painting or anything like that, just so I can see like what about the person who created this resonates with me and why. Because when people buy my art, like they're buying into a frequency because I create based off how I feel. So how I feel is translated through a painting, and welcoming that into your life, to whether it be a painting I hang on my wall or a song of mine that you listen to, it's like you want to tap into the frequency that I was feeling when I made this. And I think that's pretty cool. And I think it helps me understand why I create what I do and like what, like the feeling behind it. Yeah, when you buy something, it's because you're buying into the frequency. You're attracted to it for some reason, and you want to implement it in your life. And I did something similar like that, probably like a few months ago, but it was with music. And I just was like, okay, I'm gonna do a whole week of just listening to frequencies, or I'll do a whole week just Beyonce, whole week just Drake, whole week just Nicki, whole week just this, whole week just this theme. And I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of hard. But also, when I think about it, and because I definitely feel like I was in an era, maybe last year, the year before last year, of I was listening to just SZA for like 3 months straight, just SZA. And a lot of what she was singing about and talking about, it resonated with me so deeply in the moment that I was observing it. This is a crazy story about SZA. I like, obviously, like I've heard of her in passing, but I wouldn't say I was ever like a crazy like SZA fan, like, oh, let me put on SZA. But also, like, in 2017 when she first dropped her first project, well, not her first project, but her first album, like, of course, like, I knew The Weeknd. I knew them in passing. Like, I would hear it and it would be like in one ear and out the other. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, I gotta put on this song. She dropped SOS, and I was going through, I feel like, yeah, when she dropped SOS, I was going through so much. I was going through like a breakup, but then also I was going through a friendship breakup, but then also I was going through like just like a bunch of random shit that obviously, like, listening to SOS, I could have related to in the moment. So I listened to SOS from top to bottom. I said, wow, this album is amazing. I kind of just put it on just because the person who I was dating at the time was like, oh, SZA dropped it and they put it on. And I was like, okay, I'm listening to it. But I'm like listening to it and I was just like, bro, what? Maybe like a few weeks later, I ended up buying a ticket to her concert because I was like, yeah, like this album is so good, I'm gonna just get the ticket. Prior to the concert, I hadn't I'm like, when I'm going to a concert, especially if I'm not crazy familiar with the person's music, I don't like to listen to their catalog. I like to just go and hear it live, and then I'll see like what resonates and what doesn't. Now, this is like the best practice because I did it with Renaissance, and I did it with the SOS tour. I listened to a little bit of SOS. I hadn't listened to anything prior to SOS. F2F, Gone Girl, SOS, and Snooze. Those 4 was my top. Those were the 4 that I had on repeat. All of the others, I was like, okay, like they're cool. Yeah. I went to her concert and I saw her live perform SOS and Control. And it's like, I had such an amazing time. I wasn't even singing along because I didn't really know the words yet. I was literally just standing there like, wow, I have to tap into this artist. What the hell? Maybe like a month after that, because that was in March. Yeah, literally the next week, I ended up going to Colorado with my best friend. My best friend is also a SZA fiend, and she actually tried to put me onto SZA in 2012, basically. Like, she been on the SZA wave. We in Colorado, the only thing we listened for the whole Colorado trip is SZA. Every single SZA song she ever put out, all her unreleased on YouTube, everything. Like, my head was spinning. I felt like, I was like, yo, like, every single song, I know every single lyric. Every single song, I know every single lyric. And I related so heavily and deeply to both of those projects at the same time in the moment of that. And I was just like, there's a reason why when I would hear like songs on Control in passing in like 2017, there's a reason why it didn't relate to me then. And it just goes to show that creativity is a frequency that can be felt here in 2002, or it can be felt here in 3005. So to tie everything together, what I was saying, I just love the idea of aligning through frequency and creativity. And I do want to start just keeping a little notepad and going when I go to these galleries and these exhibits and all of these things, really seeing which painting I resonate with the most, sit down and just jot it down, what I'm feeling and why. What about this? Because this artist did this. This is why I XYZ. And I want to do that with music as well. Yeah, I think, everything is frequency and everything like aligns when it's supposed to. And I just use the SZA thing as an example just because it's like the easiest example to explain. But yeah, I'm actually like in the process of writing up this grant proposal type of thing. And I have like this one painting, because usually like all of my paintings, I'll I forgot what I was saying. Fuck. Yeah, so just implementing like, oh, I'm in the middle of writing this grant, and usually like for art exhibits and art shows and things like that, hold on, one more. Usually I would just have to explain my piece in person, like, hey, like, you know, this is what I made, this is what it means, this is how this color represents, this is how it relates to my life, XYZ. That I could do freestyle. I could just do it and say it. I could just make something up. But everything that I do create, like I said, is through a frequency. So whenever I am confused about how I'm feeling, like, I definitely transmute the feeling into something physical that I could see, and then I analyze it, and I'd be like, oh, okay, so like that's how I feel. And I think that that's such a cool way to like interpret my feelings about things. But it's like, it's so silly because it's like I'm literally adding an extra step to get to the same conclusion, but that's just how my brain works. It helps me understand better. But yeah, what was I finna say? I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So, yeah, back to what I was saying. I'm writing up a grant. And yeah, so usually I can just say blah, 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 blah. This is what it means. But for this grant, I have to like type it out, like the meaning of the painting and blah, 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 and what it means. Blah, 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 X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. Now, this is about Eterna Mocha. So this painting, I've talked about it so much. I just haven't written it out. It's the writing it out part that is like dragging me. So I was like, okay. So instead of just sitting down and just thinking about what to write, I said, you know what? Why don't I just go downstairs with a paper and a pen and just tap into the feeling that I felt when I was making it and just write about it. Duh. So that's what I'm finna do. But then I got sidetracked because I had an idea to talk about this on camera because it all just tied together in such a crazy way. Like, I'm about to go downstairs and tap into the frequency that I felt in 2024 when I made a painting. That's what I'm about to do. And I really want to get into constantly tapping into frequencies so I can just get to the frequency that I want to be at. Because since everything is frequency, I am frequency, right? As long as like I'm aligning, whatever frequency I'm aligning with, that's the frequency that I'm gonna stay. So it's like, if I stay in the frequency of like sorrow and discomfort, like it's all a frequency. If I stay in this frequency, you know what's gonna happen? Discomfort, blah, whatever I said before. But it's really all about aligning yourself in ways. I've been aligning myself to the frequency of money. I'm gonna be a millionaire soon. How? Oh, well, I have this playlist. I really want to be more diligent and consistent with the music that I listen to, especially like relating to like manifesting money and getting on a money frequency. Now this ties back into what I was saying before. Beyonce is one of the richest black women on earth. So how would you think what happened to my life if I just listened to Beyonce for a whole year straight? Since that's the only, well, not the only, since that's just one of the frequencies that I tap into every single day, how would my life work out? Because think about it. Everybody in the Beehive has money. They all have money. Including me. So I can read off some songs off of my manifesting. You see, manifesting. She got a thing, Pop Smoke, bitch better have my money, Rihanna, Poured Up, Rihanna, Diamonds, Rihanna. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the manifesting playlist, it has a lot of Rihanna. It has a lot of Kanye West. It has a lot of Lil Uzi. Like, those, a lot of Rick Ross. I feel like Rick Ross, Rihanna, Nicki, and Kanye make the most manifesting type of songs. Just like the affirmations that they say. Like, honestly, every single song off Graduation, every single Champion, Stronger, I Wonder, Good Life, Can't Tell Me Nothing, Flashing Lights, Everything I Am, The Glory. Like, they're not hearing me right now. Buy into the frequency that you want to align with. Tap into the frequency that you want to align with. Tap into the feeling. Tap into the feeling. I'm gonna go tap into the frequency of that painting. I gotta go analyze this painting like I said I was gonna do, guys. Yeah. So thanks for chatting with me. And I'll be back soon enough. So try not to miss me.